Alright guys, the time has come to sadly take apart this tank. We're going to do it in multiple different sessions, multiple different days, just to make it a little bit easier for me and hopefully a little bit less stressful on the fish. Today we're going to be taking out a lot of the sand and potentially some of the plants. As you can see, the planted tank and the plant growth in this tank has really been coming on recently. The Java fern in the middle has been growing, and the Anubias has been growing quite quickly as well. But like I said, today a lot of the sand is going to come up, and then tomorrow we'll be moving absolutely everything over to the new apartment and the new temporary fish room. So let's get going. Alright, so this is a no judgment zone. The fish room is an absolute tip right now. Took some shelving off the walls in the previous video. I took this 55 gallon down to a double stack. I've got the 33 gallon that was on top of it. On the floor right now was I sold the 20 gallon rack that was there. The 40 gallon and that rack is staying. But here you can see a few blue neons that I'm keeping in that 10 gallon tank, as I obviously sold the 20 gallons that they were being kept in. On a positive note, however, the blue neon young stud is looking phenomenal. As you can see there, whoo, that coloration is awesome. Fins looking great, and I'm really excited to get back to breeding this group eventually once everything settles down. But today, as I said in the intro, we're going to be taking a lot of this sand from this 125 gallon, so let's first crack on with that, and hopefully I won't get too much aqua soil in it as well, because I'm hoping to keep this sand relatively clean. Alright, so a lot of the sand is up and it pretty much filled a 5 gallon bucket, not quite, maybe 3 gallons, 3.5 gallons taken up. I just took out all the sand that was still just pure sand, as I'm wanting to use this in the apartment. This stuff that has got a mix of sand and aqua soil, I'll put into a different bucket, just simply because I don't want them mixed, and I'll implement and use this in another setup in the future. So let's grab this. Alright, so I managed to get the vast majority of the sand out. As you can see, the fish are a little bit freaked out right now because they've simply never seen the bottom of this tank, so I'm sure that's spooking them a little bit. But vast majority of the sand is up. We're then now just going to fill the tank up and have it like this for maybe a day or two longer, and then we'll be taking everything apart. So filling this up, and then we'll come to it on the official moving day. Not really excited to break down this tank personally. It's going to be one hell of a task, but hopefully it'll be worth it when we get into the new house. So here we are. It's officially moving day for the 125. Basement's not looking too great. Did move quite a lot of furniture and stuff yesterday, but today it's coming to the tank move. As you can see, yesterday I also moved the 255s and the 40 gallon rack, and that's set up in the new apartment. And a lot of the fish that are getting moved today are gonna either go into one of the 55s or one of the 40 gallons. Got everything pretty much set up for them. Those buckets that you can see down there, the fish are gonna go into those after I take water out of the tank, and then it's just gonna be taking out all the plants, all the wood, all the rocks, and then finally the soil. Plants obviously went first. As you can see, there's a boatload of them, and the tank now is looking pretty bare, besides the dwarf aquarium lily, which really isn't a dwarf. I mean, look at the size of that thing. It's crazy. This, in my personal opinion, is such an awesome plant, and hopefully I'll be able to keep it together in the new tank and the new setup. It is going to be chilling in water, and I'll probably put the angels with this just to hopefully chill them out, because there'll be plenty of cover. So let's get that out and then catch the fish. We are now draining the remainder of the tank. We're going to try and get as much water out as possible. As you can see, the aquarium dwarf lily just about fit in the 5-gallon bucket, and I'll put the angels in there. I'll probably put the tetra in the other one, and right now they're all being filtered by sponge filters and powered by little air pumps just to keep everything in circulation in there. I'm currently just draining as much of the tank as I can, and then we're going to catch the fish. Filters are still running just because I want to keep that beneficial bacteria alive. All the fish are obviously a little bit stressed, but hopefully we'll make this as quick as possible for them. And after catching the fish, here we are. The new apartment where all the fish tanks are going to be. Obviously it's looking an absolute mess right now. We did go ahead and purchase a new 40-gallon breeder. We've got the cichlids in there. We're going to have the angels in there, the African cichlids in that one, and then some different fish in that 40 breeder that have been collected over the last few months. We're going to be using the FX6. The Sun isn't going to be used, and all the fish are currently in the buckets. I brought these in first once we moved them from the house and hooked up the air pumps again, so they've got plenty of filtration. The only thing I'm slightly worried about right now is the temperature, so we're going to crack on and get these tanks set up and get the fish put in there. So the bigger South American cichlid tank is doing fine. Everything's set up in there. Put some Melafix in there to hopefully help them chill out. And I just did an absolutely rapid scape in this tank and planted a lot of the plants from the 125. So that rack's pretty much done now. I just need to get the heater in there, put a little bit more water in there, then I can move the fish. The blue neons are all set up, but that chunk of wood on the right hand side is going to be moving over to the 40-gallon, and I'll be doing a different scape in there. An angel's going to go in there, some of the rainbow fish and a few other fish, but I'm going to do that later. Right now I'm just going to fill up the remainder of the 55, and to keep the biomedia good in the FX6, I've actually got 3 different airlines going into the FX6 just to keep everything moving in there, and hopefully that will suffice for the next 30 to 40 minutes while I get the fish moved and get everything going. I'll then hook it up straight away and get this top 55 going. Alright, so we got the tank filled up a little bit more. As you can see, the FX6 is now running. I have restricted it a little bit because obviously I don't want it going haywire in this 55. I've got the heater in here, and I took some water from the buckets that the fish are currently sat in and put them in this tank. I'm now going to catch all the fish from here and put them in the 55. I'm going to do this absolutely rapidly though, so I'm not going to video it. As you can see right now, the fish look to be doing pretty good. During this time I also set up that 40-gallon that you can kind of get a sneak peek of there. And a few days later, this is how the fish room is looking. Really happy with it so far, and make sure you stay tuned on this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I'll be giving you a full breakdown of every single tank in the next video. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you on the next one.